Chicago. We've got the most recognizable buildings in the world. Our skyline is an eclectic mix of classic architecture and mind-bending modern design. And no one building in Chicago right now personifies this mix of old and new, quite like the Tribune Tower.
Located here on Michigan Avenue, Tribune Tower has secrets around every corner and a story, it seems, on every floor. And now, a new owner is transforming Chicago history into luxury downtown living. And I'm going to take you inside the tower for a look few people get to see.
It was the world's greatest office building at one point. When we bought it, it wasn't the world's greatest office building. But the whole idea was, let's make this the world's greatest building.
Lee Golub is the managing principal at Golub & Company. His hands have touched tons of buildings throughout downtown Chicago, and he's responsible for the Tribune Tower's incredible 2.0 renovation.
We needed to make the building modern in today's world, but we also didn't want to lose the history.
In the Roaring 20s, the Chicago Tribune needed a new home and held a design competition open to any architect on the planet. The winning design came from these two New Yorkers who pocketed $50,000 in prize money and some major Michigan Avenue bragging rights. The building's Gothic design looked more Eastern Europe than Windy City, but quickly found a home in Chicago's beloved skyline. Tribune, the company, left the tower in 2018. It was a big deal goodbye, leaving many to wonder what the Tribune Tower could be without the Tribune in it.
People don't realize everything else around the property of the tower was not landmarked. You have the tower itself, which was kind of landmarked. Some of the facades of the tower were landmarked, and the lobby were landmarked. That was it. Hotel, retail, office, apartments, condos, parking. It could have been all of those.
At the end of the day, Lee chose a mix of high-end condos while adding more shops along the Mag Mile, powered by a design ethos to go big and be inspired by the history. You can see this in action in the tower's impressive main lobby.
For me, the first thing I notice in here, the elevator doors.
These are the original elevator doors,
yeah,
but I want to show you this little nice trick that we came up with. This looks like that.
It sure does. Come on.
This
Ooh,
is
behind the curtain.
This is the fireman's car that the coal flue used to be, and so this is basically was refabricated by a gentleman in Southern Illinois
to match the original.
Match the original. So to make the door for landmark purposes, because this is part of the landmark in the lobby, we had to make that look like one of the elevator doors.
Wow.
It's astounding.
Even more astounding, the $1 million just hanging on the lobby wall.
This map is made out of $1 million in singles of currency that was taken out of commission and paper mache. Yeah, this is just amazing.
Relics like the lobby map are all around the Tribune Tower, giving the developers a series of nonstop challenges to design around and a few surprises along the way.
They found 3 time capsules. And there's a baseball in there, and it was in really bad shape. There was an envelope in the time capsule that had a letter from the sports editor of the Chicago Tribune. This baseball was used in Game 5 of the 1919 World Series between the Chicago White Sox and the Cincinnati Reds, and was used to strike out a World Series record 6 Chicago White Sox batters at the time.
Lee plans to show off discoveries like that history-making baseball in a Trib Tower museum at a later date. Right now, we're off to the 3rd floor, where the original Chicago Tribune newsroom is now a gargantuan space to party and play.
This used to be a conference room on the 3rd floor for the newsroom. You know, we have so much space, we were trying to figure out what to do with everything. So, Monopoly game, chess, backgammon, pool. And if we didn't furnish and touch and make every space great, you'd think, well, why did they stop?
So when you walk around, what gives you the most pride?
Everywhere you look, you have history of the Tribune. This is one of my favorite pieces. This is the landmark lobby in a vision of one of the artists. And so there's artwork all around the building where you just don't lose, you cannot miss the history of the Tribune.
You certainly can't miss the centerpiece of the 3rd floor lounge, a fireplace from the original office of Colonel Robert McCormick, legendary publisher of the Chicago Tribune.
This was part of the building that was not landmarked. We knew that it was a very special piece.
And I love the idea. The newspaper is an institution developed by modern civilization to present the news of the day, and it goes on from there. In fact, there are famous quotes and words of wisdom inscribed on surfaces throughout the tower, from philosophers and politicians to judges and journalists.
Lee says it would take us an entire day to read them all.
7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent, the United States will enjoy freedom of the press just so long. Parapets tipped with silver lances keep gleaming, vigil beneath the moon.
Of all the historical relics in the tower, it was the Tribune's sign that created the most drama.
So this is the original Chicago Tribune sign that we took down letter by letter to refurbish it. I believe in Madison, Wisconsin, we went to an auto repair place.
Tribune threatened to take the sign with them to their new home at the Prudential building, but the lease said Lee had the right to buy it for $1.
We ended up in a lawsuit on the sign. And I said, you're gonna lose in court. You're gonna lose in the court of a public opinion.
In the end, the company let Lee keep the sign, provided they advertised condo listings in the paper.
So what's next? Crown?
We got to go up there to the
Going
Crown.
up.
We're
Yeah,
going to
let's
the
do it.
Crown.
Let's do it.
A quick trip to the top of the tower brings you to what is probably the Trib's most show-stopping experience.
This is the stunning architecture that will never get built again.
Is there a better venue in the city of Chicago to have an event of any kind?
No. In the summertime, you're sitting here drinking your wine, having champagne, smoking a cigar. It's the best event space in the city.
A crowning achievement in a building that's a perfect representation of Chicago in just about every way. Well, almost perfect.
There's one mistake that was made that I always ask people if they can find it. You can find the one mistake they had to come back and fix.
You've done this tour before, I know. You're the official
Once or
tour
twice.
guide.
Once or twice.
It must give you great pleasure to show it off.
Every time. It's preserving the city.
It's the no-expense-spared renovation and attention to detail that makes the new Tribune Tower the place to be. So, what would it feel like if Tribune Tower was your home address?
Yeah. Wow.
Pretty
Look at
great,
this.
right?
Look at that view, too, right out
Isn't
the
this
window.
amazing?
Now for a very exciting moment. We have Karen Randich-Stone, sales consultant for the towers, and we're about to see a fantastic unit. What are we looking at?
We're going to be looking at Residence 902. It is our model.
Let's check it out.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah. Wow.
Pretty
Look at
great,
this.
right?
Look at that view, too, right out
Isn't
the
this
window.
amazing? This unit is 3251 square feet, 3-bed, 3.5 bath. All bedrooms here are en suites.
For a 1920s building, what strikes you is how much light comes in, right? To be able to look
at
out
this.
your window
Look at this.
and see this. And the kitchen is spectacular.
Isn't it beautiful? Natural stone quartzite. Galley workstation's one of my favorite pieces here because it's a big sink and you have these accessories that come with every unit here.
So Karen, where are we going now?
We're going to the primary suite. 4 closets in this, 2 walk-ins and 2 reach-in.
Right.
10-foot ceilings.
Right.
And this is a unique residence. So you have the opportunity to buy this unit completely furnished.
So we've seen the unit. What is this going to cost me?
So this unit, completely designed, is $4.7 million.
So you can buy anything you see here is available.
Actually, when you buy this unit, you get everything. We hand you the key. You get everything.
Karen, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
It's really something.
It's a pleasure. It's an honor to be part of the project.
I'll bet.
By the way, the Tribune Tower would look very different today if some of the other plans were chosen a century ago, including an arch, a pyramid, and one in the shape of a Native American figure over 20 stories tall.